Hey, this is Fern with Vision Accomplished. We're here today at a residential home in Brookhaven, and I'm recording this video to be a companion to the construction documents I've produced for all the renovations we're intending for this property. So what you're looking at would be the final product. You can see all the plants. Some of them are new, most of them are existing. We're going to do all new sod in the back, a few new hardscapes, including a deck replacement. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Nice little walking paths through the natural area of our forest. The biggest problem solving for this project came on the side yard. We'll go through that in detail momentarily. I'm going to hide all of the plants for now because we are not doing any new planting other than sod until the fall. So we're looking for bids on these hardscapes. Okay, so here we are, and there are all your hardscapes. The only one that's existing that remains will be this paver walkway that goes from the garage to the rear. So, and the fence is here with maybe a couple of renovations, but everything else is going to be new. The sidewalk's there. I'm going to show you some existing photos just to clarify. There we go. The areas where we're going to make some changes. So over here in the side yard, this is our biggest problem. If you can see this image, right now, it looks like the original construction was a little T brick wall that was designed to push water away from the basement door, but the basement door is about 7 inches below grade. There is a drain within this little landing, but when it clogs, it doesn't work and water comes in the basement. So we also had some landscaping done out front a couple of years back, and they actually exacerbated the problem by piling dirt right here in front of the fence line. So this is an image of just in front of the fence line on that side, and the lowest grade is now the side of the house. So water is just getting trapped, rotting the fence, causing problems going in the basement right here on the side of the house. So my solution is we have some pretty big holly trees right here, but staying outside of their structural root plates. I can show you those circles, but my plan is to dig this whole area down where the low spot is no longer the door. We're removing those brick walls. Let's see. This is representing a drain pipe, but there is the existing wall. So we're removing that and digging down this whole area into a big V-shaped trench with the lowest spot under the dry creek bed being just at least a couple inches lower than the bottom of the door. I'm going to hide that wall, and I'll show you what I did with my new walls. It's pretty simple, but I think it will work. We're going to do 2 new just timber walls that step down with the grade, one at the corner of the house and one just adjacent to the basement door that will function to push water out and away from our door, but also and into our creek bed, and retain the soil that would want to just snake around the corner of the house and cause problems. So our creek bed only extends as far as it has to. I've got it coming out about 25 feet past the front corner of the house. This whole area also, as you see in this photo here, needs to be dug down so that gravity lets water out. It's also our intention to install solid drain pipes from the downspouts that are shown across the back of the house. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These 5 downspouts should be piped into a underground drainage system represented by this stripy black wall is what it is in my program, but you can see everybody's going together at this point. It becomes a 6-inch pipe because we have quite a few. That would be 2 downspouts and then 2 more. So we're going to run 6-inch pipe from this point forward and then out to the street. There is an issue out at the street. Normally you would think we would just go straight to the street, and we would, but it's weird the way that they've repaved this asphalt. The new pipe spot will be right about here. If we went straight out, there's actually a big low spot in the street itself, and it would just create a big pool and a hazard if it froze over in the winter. So my recommendation is that we cut across not too close to this giant tree and discharge the water just before the water meter onto the street, so that we don't cause more problems than we fix. There's the representation of the water meter. There's the big tree. So I have all those linear footages for you, and I'll send you that construction document as well. In the rear, we're going to clean up our natural areas, a bit jungle-like. This is a view of part of it. So we're going to go in and remove everything that's not a tree, as represented by our survey. And we have a couple of desired plants like Japanese maples and a camellia that are all noted on the construction documents. But we're going to clean that whole area up, remove the underbrush, including its root system, so that it doesn't come right back. And then we're going to spread mulch all over the natural area. We're going to create a walking path with a contrasting color of mulch. And if budget allows, we're going to use a small river stone border to delineate it and help keep the mulches separate. It would really be okay if it was just two different colors of mulch, if this doesn't make it in the budget. Not certain our vegetable planter will make it into this year's budget, but that's what that is. It's just boulders, not even a perfect wall, just boulders stacked up and filled with good dirt. And then they have this little fencing system in their current garden, which is getting removed. You can see it's old and yucky. But I'm planning to keep that little black metal fencing system to try to keep the dogs out of the new garden as well. So whether or not we do that, let's make sure to preserve that fencing. Most of the grading in this project will be the side of the house is going down quite a bit. But also this area where the vegetable gardens are is very flat. And so it retains water, it's killing the grass. This is also the high traffic area for the dogs, and there's a beautiful Japanese maple here right off of this back patio here. So we're going to regrade the area under the vegetable garden so it's a smooth grade down the hill. And then we're going to plan to cover that bare dirt with a large Alabama rose stone gravel. Here is a picture of the small Alabama rose stone. It also comes in a bigger size, which we've decided to use in the back because of the dogs, and they're big dogs. They might displace the gravel. But this is what the small looks like, and this is what we're going to use in the front because the client needs to have a smooth path to wheel his musical equipment to the basement door. So that front yard is small Alabama rose stone with a black metal border. Backyard is large Alabama rose stone with the same stone border as out here. Stone border looks like this. It's just large river rocks set into a trench on their skinny side, so they make a border, but it allows water to move through. I usually set them about halfway down. Half of them are buried, and that holds them just fine without mortaring them in or anything. Here's an example of what the vegetable planter area might look like, just a dry stacked stone wall with 1 2-man boulders. Here's another image of the river stone border. It does a good job. It lets water through, stays put pretty well. In any case, you can put it back if it gets displaced, and it keeps the mulch in. So there are the images of that. I've got a couple creek bed images. This is what I see the creek bed looking like. So really not a whole lot of, no stone underneath this, just a swale with a pipe running underneath it to help increase the capacity and getting the water out from the side of the house. We have some stepping stones, so I have a image of what proper stepping stone installation looks like. We usually put a little mortar under each one, but not in between, so that they're permeable, but they stay put and don't list. It's like a little anchor for them. Okay, so those are your inspiration images. Let me hide those. And we'll go back to the rest of the project. So mulch front and back, new turf in the whole backyard with light grading to get that vegetable area to drain. I think once you dig out for all these drain pipes and this whole area and this whole area, you can just smooth that dirt. We already have a really nice hill, a drop from here to here. Let me see if I can show you that. So it wouldn't hurt at all. Instead of paying to haul dirt away, I think you can just spread it under the new sod area and it won't affect the drainage. Certainly we don't want to push water at the house, but it definitely goes back uphill over here. So adding a thin layer will get rid of that extra dirt. I am going to hide these for now. You get that idea, you get that idea. Stone pathway. The last thing is the deck. So I've got all my measurements shown here. The deck looks very much like this. This 45 is a little different right now. It is two rectangular boxes, but basically the same footprint. Basic pressure treated pine deck. I have a special handrail system that I like to use, the black metal balusters that screw into the top and bottom supports, not just hover in between with those little fittings. So these are screw in square fortress balusters. I've got all the framing designed, and you'll see that on the construction documents, how big of the beams and where they go. Hold on, let me hide the deck boards. So you'll get the footer size that you need and the beams. And I usually do my decks freestanding. I'm not a big fan of attaching anything to an older home that we don't have to. There's probably a ledger board that's, if it's in decent shape, you can leave it and attach to it. But all this is designed to be a freestanding structure and support itself. What's not shown on here are the K braces underneath to keep it from twisting. You'll know what to do with that. We do want a skirt. I usually use fence boards for my skirt. Do I have a picture of that? I don't know if I do. But all the way around so the dogs don't get under there and cause trouble and dig around and get dirty. You'll be able to pipe this downspout out once the deck is removed because you'll have a clear path past the existing paver area. You see we're going to be really careful with this Japanese maple. It's beautiful and would be fragile. So we're not even putting gravel underneath its structural root plate. Like I said, most of the plants stay except for the big cleanup out here and then a new planting in the fall with a few things that we'll get to next time. So I'm attaching our construction documents and this is the companion video. Please reach out with any questions. This is Fern with Vision Accomplished.